And good morning, and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. With that, let's start out with honoring God with our body. God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable, so I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please protect our ears and help us listen to your voice. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect our eyes from sins and damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please speak life over our mouths. God, set a guard over my mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help our hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone, and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. And God, please protect our reproductive organs. Help us to honor you, God, with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect our feet as we walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. And if this is the first time you are joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News, this is something that we try to say daily just to set our hearts and our minds right before we get into the news, which sometimes can be very interesting. So with that, let's get into our trending topics on X. And so we have parents that are protesting a transgender music teacher at a North Carolina elementary school. And then after that, we've got a Buc-ee's CEO eyes expansion in business-friendly red states. And then TikTok removes Spencer Pratt video on algorithmic psychosis and Clancy trial. Ooh, interesting. Removed a Spencer Pratt video. Why? Why would you remove it? Like, I have a problem with TikTok personally. So I'm going to take this up personally. I'm taking it personally because there are things that I post on TikTok, and there are people that post things that are far worse and far more vulgar than I do. And what I'm stating, I'm just putting the news. That's it. It's news. And they'll be like, "You've committed a community violation." What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What? So if I put complete trash and idiocy on TikTok, that's what you want. You do not want people to consume things that are actually informative. You want them to consume things that are not good for them at all and just be sucked in, just doom scrolling. It's weird. Well, with that, let's check out the first one, the parents who protested the transgender music teacher. So apparently families in Apex, North Carolina learned after the school year started that the teacher works with all grades, prompting some to pull kids from class and from the Middle Creek Parental Rights Group. Parent Aaron Driver told the Wake County School Board on August 18th that families shouldn't face ideological tests in public education and deserve accommodations, which officials have denied. While school supporters highlight the teachers' qualifications and diversity benefits, parents demand notification and opt-out rights amid national debates on parental roles in schools. Okay, here's the thing. If that's who you have chosen to be, school board, superintendents, you don't hire that person to be in the school. That's on you. Now, if I'm just saying, for argument, collectively as a community, if the parents and the teachers and everybody have decided, okay, this is okay to have this type of person in our school system, then that's on that community to decide that. But you're not letting anybody decide. You're to be like, we're going to shove this in your face. We don't care what you think. What? What? Well, some people might say, well, they're going to run into a person like this anyway on the outside world. They need to no, children don't. Children need to learn how to read and write and do basic math, which they can't do, by the way. They can't read, they can't write, and they can't do basic math. They stopped handwriting over 20 years ago. You have dumbed down society. And now those kids that couldn't handwrite 20 years ago, do you think they can read the Constitution in its original format? Do you think they know how to sign their name to a document? Can they even fill out a job application? In handwriting, not on the computer. Yeah, y'all are wild. But let's check this out. Oops.
To turn your kids against America, they're trying to turn them against their parents. At least those among the 80% of Americans who aren't cool with the in-your-face trans agenda. And if you think it's only happening in places like New York, Seattle, Chicago, LA, think again, because parents at Middle Creek Elementary School in North Carolina's largest school district say they're being given an ultimatum. Submit to leftist ideology, accept that a biological male pretending to be a woman is teaching their children, or get out. Submit to the trans agenda or be branded a bigot.
When I unenroll my children, it's not because I'm a stupid, narrow-minded conservative bigot that hates the music teacher. When I unenroll, it's because our children are confused. They're asking questions about advanced human topics before they even know what sex is.
These children are being told to address a male teacher as female. This is compelled speech.
I don't subscribe to gender theory. Parents shouldn't have to pass an ideological test to participate in public education.
Many of these parents aren't even looking to end this trans teacher's career. That's not what they're about. They simply want their child excused from the class, an option to opt out, in other words. But as they discovered, compliance with woke gender ideology, it's not optional, it's mandatory.
Offer a homeschooling curriculum for free. Helps keeps the bigots away from my grandchildren. Name the bigots. Tell us what they cost in money, time, and stress. Keep bigots off our campuses. Relocate the children of bigots if needed. Expel the children of bigots if needed.
Isn't that lovely? Here to discuss is one of those concerned parents, Aaron Driver. Aaron, thank you for joining us tonight. So you have 3 children
Thank you for having me.
In this elementary school, 2 of them in kindergarten. Now, what did you learn about this teacher and what were your concerns?
So we actually found out about this teacher at a birthday party because it was on the news. There was no warning or anything like that because why would there be, according to the school board leadership. And my concern immediately was, well, which grades does this teacher participate in? And we found out that it was all of them. So.
Oh, it teaches across grades, so to the youngest to the oldest.
Yeah.
And it's a music teacher, correct?
Music teacher, and yes, there's no opt-outs or there's no accommodation for any of the parents. So when we asked, they declined.
Now, is the teacher wearing women's clothing, or what does that look like?
So I've heard kind of a range of descriptions from facial hair, dress, makeup, things like that.
Wait, so you've never seen the teacher?
So I've seen the pictures online of the teacher, but I haven't seen the teacher personally because I haven't gone into the school to, go speak to the teacher or speak to the principal personally.
So the message to you or any parents who just, look, give us another option. We'll do music, I guess, would you do music off campus, or you'd go to a different class, take a different class, or listen to listen to, I was gonna say records, listen to recordings of music, or did you propose those types of options?
We asked for an opt-out and an alternate class. Alternate specials is what they call music specials and arts. And basically, we were declined. And so what a lot of us parents are doing right now is actually going in and checking our kids out prior to when that class starts. So it's about twice a week. We'll take them to the library for an hour and then come back when that class is over.
Wait a second. You have to go to the school and take your child out of the class? That's the accommodation? Correct. That's no accommodation.
Yeah, there is no accommodation at this time, and there's no alternate class for music.
What do you think their real goal is here? I mean, there's an
Forced
agenda here. It's not just,
compliance.
this is the only teacher we could find. What's the agenda?
Okay, here's the agenda. It's called forced compliance, right? And conditioning. Once you have people do things repetitively over and over, and even if they don't like it, they will do it because they've been conditioned to do it. This is forced compliance. We will force you to comply. We don't care. Pull your children out of these schools. Every single one of them. Every child has the right to be educated. What? First Amendment, right? Life, liberty, and justice. You are impeding on that person's freedom by doing this, because what a person who decides to be another being, if they're choosing that, right? That's what they're choosing. That's what they're choosing. And then you're forcing people to go along with it. That is where we are messing with the First Amendment, right there. Because you're not going to make me believe something that isn't true. And then it comes back to belief. So now we're all in this cult mentality that they are forcing upon everybody. And I need people to wake up to it. Wake up. Pull your children out of these schools. See, that father's immediate reaction should have been, my kids aren't going to go here. They will be homeschooled. And I will encourage every other parent to homeschool, and we will create our own community. And what's going to happen to these public schools? Oh, they will shut down because they won't have the funding. See, nobody's really turned the tide on these tyrants, and they are tyrants. On the school boards, the superintendents, you're disgusting pushing this on children. I'm just going to say that right now.
I think the agenda is just radical postmodern progressivism, just the usual garbage to put into the school, sort of in the personification of a trans teacher, because North Carolina law bars critical theory and gender theory. So I think that this hiring is sort of a loophole.
Well, they're trying to backdoor it, in other words, backdoor the critical, theory that it's obviously infiltrating the classroom in a different way through this persona. That's your theory of what they're doing. Yeah. Well,
correct.
Aaron, I hope your kids get educated in the way that you feel is appropriate. And I hope other parents are banding together with you, because I know a lot of them are upset about this. But this school district, I think that if the federal government has to get involved, it will. But Aaron, keep in touch with us about how this proceeds. But that school board meeting is something to watch.
No, the federal government does not need to get involved. Stop that. Stop running to the federal government every single time something happens. Take ownership of your city. Take ownership of your family, your children, your resources. They are yours, and you have the right to say, this is what you're not going to do. And if you're choosing to do this, my child will not go there. So those federal dollars that you would be getting, you're not going to have them. And they will be diverted with my child so they are properly educated. And that's it. Okay. Let's get to the next one. So Buc-ee's eyes expansion in business-friendly red states. So Applin contrasted welcoming communities that appreciate Buc-ee's family-friendly brand jobs and investment with places that don't signaling a pullback from less supportive blue states. Interesting. He praised conservative states with strong workforces and leadership from the governor down, like Arkansas, where Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders welcomed the new store. The Texas chain, famous for its massive 74,000 square foot locations, 120 fuel pumps, and fresh brisket sandwiches and spotless facilities, has 58 stores across 14 states and plans more openings in places like Tennessee, Louisiana, Kansas, Florida, Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina through 2028. And yes, I am a Buc-ee's fan. Let me see if you guys can see my cup. This is one of my favorites. This is my 250 cup. And all the bling on there, that's me. That's extra. And then here's my other cup that I got for my birthday. So cute. Again, the bling is extra. It doesn't come with the cup. That's just me. And then my husband got me this cute little phone holder, and it actually does hold your cell phone. Now, I left the card in place because it's just easier. I'm sure if you remove the card, it'd be the same and it holds your phone. But he's like a little plushie. He's a plushie Bucky. Bucky's is my favorite place. It really, really is. When we're traveling and we're going, I love to stop there. I love just going inside the store and, seeing the different items that they've come up with. They've got t-shirts. And I mean, if you could imagine it, Bucky's probably has it. They have their own popcorn. I'm just saying, I appreciate the grind. It is absolutely wonderful. It says life's too short. Bucky CEO won't build in blue states that don't appreciate the brand. And there are some states that are, predominantly Democrat that he's not building in. And I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. And a lot of people say, well, that's not fair. No, that's business. And that's what we need to get back to is business. See, most Democrats are into destroying businesses because they want everybody living off of the federal government. What is that? You're going to run out of money. If people aren't working and they can't pay taxes, how does the government function? That's just an easy conversation that nobody wants to have. But in your mind, these individuals that are on this whole socialist communist movement, move to Cuba. If that's what you really want, if that's what you really desire, move somewhere where it's already happening so you can check it out for yourself to see if something that you really, really want and desire. But not from the comfort of your couch. Because see, right now you're comfortable. Right now, nobody's breaking in your door because you have more wealth than your neighbor. And why do you have more wealth than your neighbor? Why aren't you giving up your couch so they can sit on it and you can sit on the floor? I thought that's how socialism is trying to work, right? We got to share everything equally, right? You shouldn't have more than somebody else, right? Why don't you cut your couch in half and give half to your neighbor who's not? Why don't you take that homeless person in that's sitting on the front of the stoop and share your resources and your home with them as opposed to leaving them outside? Yes, you're not real socialists and communists. Not here in America. You just want to do it from the comfort of the couch. Y'all are weird. I will always say that. Y'all are weird. Okay. And into this last one. So TikTok removes Spencer Pratt video on algorithmic psychosis and Clancy trial. So in the clip, the former Hills star linked social media algorithms to socialite issues tying into the Lindsay Clancy murder trial over her 3 young children's 2023 unalivings in Duxbury, Massachusetts, where her defense cites postpartum psychosis. Ex-users reposted screenshots questioning removal amid concerns over TikTok's ByteDance ownership and content moderation. Pratt noted mass reports led to the takedown of and urged sharing the video elsewhere, spotlighting debates on platform accountability and free speech. There's no free speech on TikTok. There's the speech that they want you to have. That's different. There is no free speech on TikTok. And I know that. Now, yes, I do get on there on lives to talk about the redemption party when I can. We're actually going to have one coming up this Saturday. If you guys want to join, I'll make sure I post it here. I'll post it on X and other social media platforms so you guys can be a part of that conversation. But, there's certain things you can say and not say. And it's just weird. Like they always have to tell me, and it's not funny, but I have to say, remind me of what I can't say on here because I'm not used to censoring myself anywhere. When the word unaliving came about because of all these social media platforms, you can't say this and you can't say that. How am I supposed to communicate if I can't just say what it is? Oh, that's the point. Yeah, that is the complete point. So let's check out. We're not going to check out this whole video. Spencer, it's 10 minutes. Goodness. We're not going to see. We'll do 2 minutes of it, but you guys, it is posted here on X. Obviously, you can't show it on TikTok.
The internet was a mistake. We have officially broken bad. Recently, a married mother of 3 young children was grappling with postpartum psychosis. Not just depression, but psychosis. She was committed to a psych ward for a brief stay, but she lied her way out of it and made her way back home. When her husband left the house to go get food, she took her 3 young babies into the basement, lined them up, and one by one, wrapped an exercise band around their neck and strangled them to death. Now, strangulation is very difficult, even with a toddler. It takes a lot of force and a lot of time. It's a very intimate way to kill somebody, which is probably why she turned the kids face down as she did it. She didn't have to watch the life drain out of their panicked eyes as she choked them out. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to choke a toddler to death, so the third child had to stand there and watch their siblings die for about 10 minutes before it was their turn. After Mama had finished killing all of her kids, she promptly went upstairs, slashed her own wrist, jumped out the second floor window to off herself. Well, the snow outside cushioned her fall, the cold slowed her vitals, so she merely fractured her spine, paralyzing her, but she ultimately survived. When her husband came home with dinner, he called out for the kids and his wife. Nobody answered. He went upstairs thinking maybe she was bathing the kids. When he got to the bedroom, he saw blood splattered everywhere and the window wide open. To his horror, he saw his wife on the ground outside paralyzed. He asked where the kids were, and his heart sank when she murmured, "In the basement." He was on the phone with 911 when he discovered his dead babies. So there's a recording of his screams as he turned over his dead children, seeing their blue faces and their eyeballs nearly bursting from the sockets. The man naturally moved far away in a desperate attempt to reset his life somehow, and his wife is on trial for murder. And women on TikTok are supporting her. Go ahead, look around if you dare. You will see hundreds of psychotic women supporting Lindsay Clancy, blaming the husband.
All right, he did it. Patrick did it.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. He did it. He did it.
Patrick's the one who did it.
This is crazy. But this is where we are. Thank you, Spencer Pratt, for making this video. And if you guys want to go back and watch it, obviously, like I said, it's a 10-minute video. So sad. So sad. Now let's get into all sides. So Trump's plan to import beef sparks Republican pushback conspiracy theories. Now here's what they are possibly talking about. Let me get to this video.
You might want to just double check where you're getting your steak from for the next few months. Because Donald Trump just announced that we're going to be importing tons of beef from Argentina to quote unquote lower costs. Except the big problem here is that this is the same beef that China rejected earlier this year because it was found to be laced with a chemical called chloramphenicol. Just so everybody's aware, chloramphenicol is banned in both the US and the EU because it can cause, quote, severe, irreversible, and often fatal aplastic anemia in humans. And on top of that, it is a known cancer-causing carcinogen and also has been shown to cause genetic damage. Not ideal, to say the least. And when asked about it on Air Force One, here's what Trump had to say.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are
Argentina is fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
Meanwhile, in the United States, over 160,000 farms have closed between 2017 and 2024. And on average, 77 cattle producers are going out of business every single day. Another win for the golden age.
Yeah. And you guys, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know I've had Casey, and she is the rancher that does things from ranch to table, and they skip the middleman. They are fighting for their lives as cattle ranchers in the United States. And so I'm trying to have her back on to discuss this with us further, because obviously she's really, boots on the ground, grassroots, and understands what's happening in that space. So we're definitely going to have her back on. Now, Americans mourn the death of music icon Dolly Parton. Yes, I know I was very upset about it yesterday because, you kind of grew up with Dolly Parton. The one that, in my opinion, she's most famous for is 9 to 5, that song. And she's got her amusement park. I think it's in North Carolina. The Dolly, I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to call it Dolly World, but she does have an amusement park for her namesake. And she never had children, but she was, in my opinion, she was a professional auntie. And it's sad that she didn't have kids, but I respect why she didn't, only because of her life that, she chose to be an entertainer and being on the road, you know what I mean? So her choice not to have children, but to still love other people's children, I definitely appreciated all that she, put in. I remember growing up seeing her on Hee Haw and just different programs. Like I said, she was just a part of everybody's life. She transcended. She wasn't just a country music star. She was Dolly Parton, right? And everybody knew her as Dolly, the cute little blonde lady, had figure, right? She's tiny. She's mighty and tiny. And she had an amazing voice, just a wonderful presence. And you felt loved. Even though you didn't know her personally, you knew that she just loved and cared about everybody around her. And she extended that. So condolences to her family. And we are so grateful to her family for sharing Dolly with the rest of us. Now, let's get back into more of this news. The Trump administration weighs visa revocations for foreigners who apply for asylum. Understandably so. So apparently there might be people. Let's see, the Trump administration plans to revoke 200,000 visas of asylum seekers. Yeah, it's interesting. How do you have a visa and you are an asylum seeker? Like both of those things, no. As the United States, we really need to fix that part of immigration with asylums and refugees and people here on TPS. Being a refugee or an asylum seeker should not be a pathway to citizenship, but there are loopholes where they still can apply if they're like, well, I've been here, I've been a good citizen, blah, 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 blah. No. Go back to your home country. Then if you want to reapply for citizenship, you can get in the back of the line, not in the front. See, doing something like saying you're a refugee or an asylum seeker, even if you're not, puts you at the front of the line. It gives you priority over people who've already been waiting for years to get their citizenship the right way. So I'm with it. Revoke it all. Change it all. Congress needs to fix this, and Congress is the only ones that can fix it. So it always cracks me up when they're complaining about it. I'm like, dude, you are the only ones, according to the Constitution, who have the power to change this. What are you doing? I'm just saying. Just saying. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News for this Women and Wellness Wednesday. I'm hoping to have a guest next week, working on that. But tomorrow is Mighty Men Thursday, and we do have a guest that will be joining us, and that will be Judge Joe Brown. He's going to talk to us about the importance of the Black vote and the historical relevance of the Black vote, because it really is a topic that is on the table this election cycle and election cycles to come. But things are definitely changing around the Black vote, and I really want to hear his perspective. So thank you guys so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. And remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.